Level Up is a regular podcast that brings you topics to help you perform at work and in life at your very highest level. Your host is Dan Chiodo, an executive coach, corporate trainer, and author. He is president of Impact Training and Executive Coaching. And now, here's Dan.
Thank you, Jesse. Here we are at Level Up, the place to go when you want to grow. And we look a little different today in the Level Up studios. I know it's a little bright, or some might say a little too much, but there's something special today. And that is that this is the 30th podcast we're doing with you. We started as audio, now we are video. And all of the guests that I've had, we're celebrating today because it's so special to do 30 podcasts, and we'll have more. You also have about 100 blogs that you can look at. And you go to impactbydan.com and find all of those blogs or all of those podcasts, all of them meant to help you level up. But today, there's no guest. It's just me. That's how I started my first podcast. It was just me talking to you about what we were going to do. And I think we've fulfilled our mission along the way. I hope that we have. But today I thought for the 30th, we would take a break again and just talk about a couple of things. And I'll do one short commercial for myself because today we're going to talk about my book, Perfect Timing, which you can find on my website or the audiobook, Perfect Timing. And I want to bring a few things out from it that I can talk to you about that might be helpful to you. I'm going to take one core concept. And I'm going to teach you that part so that it perhaps will help you in whatever you do. So what it is PORE. That is the formula. P-O-R-E. Just like I want this to be in your pores, I want you to think about time in this way. The P stands for prepare. The O stands for operate, the R stands for refresh, and the E stands for evaluate. Now, why did I come up with this PORE concept? Why did I come up with the book itself? It's because most of the teams I meet with at some point will say, time management is something I need help with. Either individuals on the team or the entire team needs some help with how to handle time better. So that's why I started with PORE. I want to see if this is what you do with your day. And if you don't, I'd like you to consider it. Let's start with the P. The P is prepare. There's nothing like great preparation. In the book, I talk about the fact that the pilot I work with, before we ever fly, we'll always go outside the plane and check it over and over to make sure we are prepared for the flight. And you would want your pilots to do that too, I'm sure. But most of us don't do that. We come into the day and think, well, let's see, what do we have today? Like it's all new. When really, if we would do the P part of PORE and do the prepare, we would prepare for that day. Everything would be lined up, just like a doctor's office. Just like when you go to the dentist, let's say, and they bring you into the operatory and everything is lined up for the procedure. Everything is there. They are prepared. But do you do that in your day? Or do you think, well, no, I don't need to do that in what I do? But maybe you do. It will make for a better day. And by the way, the preparation, the prepare is not done that day. It is done the day before. So it's the first part of PORE, but it's done the day before. I'm a poet and don't know it. Interesting. Anyhow, let's take the P, prepare, and think about what you do. Are you fully prepared? Do you have all the reports ready for tomorrow? Is your desk feng shui, looking good, ready for a productive day? Clear the desk, it'll clear the mind, and let's prepare for the day. That's the P. O is operate. Just like a surgeon would operate. They are focused on that patient. I used to be in a program where I would observe open heart surgery. I found that very interesting. And as I watched doctors do open heart surgery, I noticed that they are always focused on what they're doing and only that. And if you were on the table, if you were the one, you would not want them to go take a text, take a break, have a conversation. No, you want them focused. But we don't do that. We don't truly operate. And some of the most important things in our life that, let's say, our boss have said, these are long-term things, these are strategic things, could you please do this? And we add them to our general day and hope that we will get to them. You can't do it that way. You have to learn to operate. Now, you figure out how many minutes is best for you for your operation. Can you do it for 90 minutes? Can you do it for 60 minutes? Can you do it for 30 minutes? Whatever your job is, find time to operate. Find time where you can say, I'm going to go work on this report and I'll be right back. After all, if you went to the restroom, you might be away for a little bit, and yet we can't do that for our major projects. That's one of the things I noticed that clients don't put in their schedules. If I ask them to look at their schedule book, I'll see the meetings, I'll see perhaps calls they have to make, but I'll say, where are the things that are your focus times, your operate time, O, that part of PORE, that's O, where are your operate times? And they'll say, well, I'll do that when I get to it. The thing is, though, you don't get to it. And then your performance is not as stellar as it could be. All of the things we do on Level Up, on this video podcast, are made to help you be at your best. Level up means leveling up to get to your next level of performance. So that is the O of PORE. P is what? Prepare. Thank you very much. O is what? Operate. And now we go to R, and that is refresh. The refresh part is something that we sometimes don't get to. Oh, I just don't have time. Don't have time to take a break. Have to work. The thing is, it's the refresh where you really get something done because you're more creative. You take time to pull away just for a little bit. That's why it's important for you to take your vacations. That's a longer refresh time. And you usually come back a different person. That's why it's difficult sometimes. You'll come back from a vacation and you have to get back in the groove because it's not quite the same. That's because you're thinking about things a little differently. That doesn't hurt. So do you take time to refresh? And by the way, there are companies that will pay people if they don't use their vacation time, and then people start to do that. I do not agree with that. Vacation time means time off, and we all need that. So take time to refresh. So P is prepare, O is operate, R is refresh, and now E. E is the thing I rarely see. E is the thing I rarely see, and it is the evaluate. We go through our day and roll into the next day, never evaluating what happened that day before. Do you see how you could level up very easily? How you could get up to that next level? By just asking yourself 3 things. And the 3 things are, what went right today? What went wrong today? What should change? And that's what you do. It won't take long to do it, but it's so valuable. It means that tomorrow you will be better than today. Tomorrow you'll have a better day than today because you analyzed it. And you started with what went right, just so you know. And then you talk about what went wrong. And then what should change. That's what happens when a new play is on Broadway. After that first night, even though there have been dress rehearsals, after the first night, they tweak it, they analyze it. What went right? What went wrong? What should change? And we don't do that. You know, when I was a kid, I used to love to go to the set at Saturday Night Live and watch them prepare for the shows. I lived close to New York City, so I could do that. What I noticed was they had these little floors of boxes that were little sets where they performed different things. And if a skit didn't go well, if it didn't get enough laughs, they retweaked it and try it again before it went on the live show. That's kind of what we need to do. Before we go live for tomorrow, why not iron out what happened today? So P, O, R, and then E for evaluate. I hope that's helpful to you. I hope it will be meaningful. And I want you to think about it a little bit. Right now, though, we're going to take a quick break for this commercial. If you've just tuned in, I'm Dan Chiodo, and this is Level Up, the place to go when you want to grow. We'll be right back after this.
If you're like most people, your thoughts tend to bounce all over the place. And when you are stressed or worried, they naturally gravitate towards the negative. Many are so accustomed to allowing negative thoughts, worry, fear, and stress to dominate their thinking, they don't even realize they're doing it. Some even feel guilty if they're not constantly thinking about their problems. Mind walking is a daily 15-minute exercise where you practice thinking on purpose while you walk. Just walk and listen as success coach Bill Mansell guides you through the mind walking exercises. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll learn how to get your mind's attention and focus your thoughts towards what's right in your life now and what you want to create in your future. Visit mindperk.com to learn more and purchase the Mind Walking program.
Well, thank you for coming back to Level Up. Thank you for joining me in this 30th podcast that we've done. And we're talking about time management today. We talked about how to handle our day a little different way with the PORE method: prepare, operate, refresh, and evaluate. I want to take that a little further just to talk about time and something I notice. You know, I wrote Perfect Timing several years ago, and so now I'm doing a Perfect Timing 2.0 module where we talk about some of the things that are changing, some of the things that are going on. Well, here's something I notice. A lot of things are not taken care of because we feel we have no control. And what I'm saying to people is, I think every owner of every organization would appreciate it if you treated your job like you were the owner. Think like an owner. You can do it. You run a household. Why can't you think like an owner for your job? And here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to think about control. Control in a good way, a positive way. We may think of control in a bad way. We sometimes say someone is very controlling. Well, I want to look at it in a good way. And what I want you to do is to start control your own time. Control your time. Then you'll be able to control situations. Then you'll be able to control other people, but in a good way. All it says is, my time is precious. You know, I talked earlier on the flip side of this session about the fact that we need to put appointments in our calendar for time to work on strategic projects. Another reason that you need to have it there is that that's an appointment. If something comes up and you see that, you can tell someone, I have an appointment then. The appointment is with you, but that's okay. It's an important project. And let me tell you this, As a CEO, if I am going to promote someone, there are several things I look for. Number one, do they communicate well? Let's say they're going to be a leader. I don't want a leader who can't communicate. So they have to communicate well. And they also have to know their skill set. So whatever we hire them for, accounting or driving or whatever it is, they have to be able to do that. Number three, I want to know that they have a heart. I want to know that they're there for their people, that people are everything to them. But the fourth one is time management. And I have had leaders before try to sell me on hiring someone. And if I know that they're not good in time management, I will say to that person, I just can't appoint them a leader if they don't know how to handle time. It's not going to get better. And so we always have to look at that. So here's how you do that. You simply value yourself and then value your time. And you know what you want to do for the day. You move ahead to accomplish your goals for the day. That's how you do it. And then to control situations, don't feel like someone else has all of the pull. You have pull too. You have a certain opinion about things, and you can control that. After all, when we talk about control, don't we want to control things so that we're doing the things that are fair to our people, to our customers, to our organization, to us, and to the person we're talking to? But it's not just about them. Everybody loves to listen to WIIFM. What's in it for me? But sometimes we have to do the right thing. So keep control. Control your time so that it's spent on the right things. Control situations so that they turn out in the way you're envisioning them. Remember earlier we talked about what went right, what went wrong, what should change. I started with what went right because I want you to envision the great things that happened today. But in situations, I want you to envision what could possibly happen if we push this in the right direction. And now, controlling people. All I mean by that is we know what we want to do with our time. We are not going to let someone else who's a talker steal our day with their talking when we don't have time. We will be nice to them. We will tell them when we can talk, but we are going to keep control of our life. And I think that's where I want to leave our time management subject today. Just the fact that you can control your time. You can level up to get where you want to be. The person you are today does not have to be the person you are tomorrow. It's not that you're not a good person, but have you ever thought of what you could be? What might be down the road? Maybe today, on our 30th podcast, is a good time to think about that. I always try to leave you with something, a little homework or something you can think about on each of our podcasts. And so today, I think I will leave you with the thought, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So we don't have to always look at them the same way. And that's the important thing. A lot goes into preparing our podcast every month. So on this 30th one, I do want to thank all the folks who have active involvement in it at Storm Cloud Marketing. They put it together, and I appreciate that. And so I thank Dustin, Candace, Jesse, Derek, Jessica, Shane, and J-Mac for doing this for me every month. I truly appreciate it.